Hey guys, Maxwell here with some thoughts on making it a show. Yesterday I was at a restaurant here in Thailand and some kids came up and they had a great act. It was a fire act. They had like big batons and they were twirling them around really fast. It looked fantastic. I wish I had my video camera so I could get some footage. They were just little kids. That's another issue. I don't think they should have been playing with fire because they were so little and it looked like they probably get burned sometimes. But anyway, that's, it was really cool that they're doing something to make money and putting on a great show. But the one thing that they didn't do was really make it a show. They didn't have a defined start. They just kind of started. It looked like they were warming up, and then all of a sudden it seemed like, okay, now they were performing, and then at the end it kind of fizzled out. It was strange. They didn't do a defined show. They didn't have a beginning. They didn't have any sort of introduction. And they didn't have a middle or an end. So that's one thing. I wish I could have worked with them. And I've seen so many street performers, the great ones like Gazo, and the way that they turn. They start off, they build a crowd. They have definitely defined crowd building moments, but then it's very, very obvious that it's a show, and they make it a show. They frame it that way. Even even a lot of street performers will talk about, if you went to a show, how much you'd pay and things like that to increase the hat. But these guys didn't make it a show, and there wasn't much variety. It was pretty much the same thing all the time. So they didn't really add a lot of drama. But they still made a good hat because they were so cute. Just little kids, playing with the batons was adorable. So people were trying to figure out how to give them a donation. But they probably could have tripled or quadrupled their hat if they would have just made it more defined, added a little bit more variety, and done some introductions and let us get to know them as people a little bit. But anyway, those were my thoughts on the show, and I think that's advice that most of us can probably use to make sure that our show is well defined as a show. Especially because I know a lot of times guys like myself and I'm sure many of you are just doing magic for fun, and then it kind of turns into a show. But I think we could do some things to make it more defined.